Good afternoon. Happy Ring of Fire Eclipse Day and happy Chinese New Year of the Fire Horse Day. Very powerful energies. So this is the fourth installment of my course of videos that are 365 days taking you through A Course in Miracles. Today I'm reading pages 7 and 8 in the text, Chapter 1, and we will be doing Workbook Lesson 4. I gave you guys a treat today of myself. Look at that. It's beautiful. Here, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now, I'm at Lake Erie. This is where I'm from. I grew up on Lake Erie in Avon Lake, Ohio. I'm in Lakewood, Ohio right now at the Solstice Steps. There's Cleveland if you can see it in the distance. It's beautiful out today. So yeah, I'm not supposed to be down here. It's illegal to be in here because it's dangerous. But I don't think the police are going to come or the sheriffs. They've only kicked me out of here once. Alright. It's really hard to find a place to put this phone so I can see you guys. Alright. So. We're going to get right to it. If you want to know what's going on in this video, if you want to know about the Course in Miracles, go to my YouTube channel, the Aquarian Rainbow Bridge, or just click on this video. It'll take you to my channel, and you can watch the rest. I don't recommend doing more than one a day, and you should probably at least watch the introduction video before you do this one, and definitely purchase a copy of the book, because it's going to take you a year to get through it. Okay. So, this is chapter 1 of the text, section 2, Revelation, Time, and Miracles. Verse 1, Revelation induces complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear. It reflects the original form of communication between God and his creations, involving the extremely personal sense of creation sometimes sought in physical relationships. Physical closeness cannot achieve it. Miracles, however, are genuinely interpersonal and result in true closeness to others. Revelation unites you directly with God. Miracles unite you directly with your brother. Neither emanates from consciousness, but both are experienced here. Consciousness is the state that induces action, though it does not inspire it. You are free to believe what you choose, and what you do attests to what you believe. Verse 2. Revelation is intensely personal and cannot be meaningfully translated. That is why any attempt to describe it in words is impossible. Revelation induces only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce action. They are more useful now because of their interpersonal nature. In this phase of learning, working miracles is important because freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Revelation is literally unspeakable because it is an experience of unspeakable love. And this is a very dense text. It's a lot. There's Course in Miracles book clubs or discussion groups all over the country with people who have been studying it for years that can give you a really good interpretation of it. Check your local libraries. Just go to look up A Course in Miracles online, the Foundation for Inner Peace, and I'm sure they're listed there. I should probably go to one. I'm learning with you guys. This is my first time going entirely through the course. It's not my first time studying it, but so section 2, Revelation, Time, and Miracles. Verse 3. Awe should be reserved for revelation to which it is perfectly and correctly applicable. If it is not appropriate for miracles because a state of awe is worshipful, implying that one of a lesser order stands before his creator. You are a perfect creation and should experience awe only in the presence of the creator of perfection. The miracle is therefore a sign of love among equals. Equals should not be in awe of one another because awe implies inequality. Do not put any man or woman on a pedestal. And don't put yourself on a pedestal either. We all might be in different stages of learning or evolution, but we are all equal in the eyes of God. None of us is better than the other. Some of us just temporarily have more, and some of us temporarily have less, and us that temporarily have more are here to give to those of you that temporarily have less. I used to be one of those that had less. That's changing now. It's been a lot of work. So the miracle is therefore a sign of love among equals. Equals should not be in awe of one another because awe implies inequality. It is therefore an inappropriate reaction to me. There's a honeybee. Maybe it'll land on me. It's so cute. That's definitely a message. Bees are sacred. An elder brother is entitled to respect for his greater experience and obedience for his greater wisdom. He is also entitled to love because he is a brother, and to devotion if he is devoted. It is only my devotion that entitles me yours. There is nothing about me that you cannot attain. I have nothing that does not come from God. The difference between us now is that I have nothing else. This leaves me in a state which is only potential in you. Verse 4, no man cometh unto the Father but by me. Does not mean that I am in any way separate or different from you. And this is Christ speaking through the Holy Spirit. This does not mean in any way that I'm in any way separate or different from you except in time. And time does not really exist. This statement is more meaningful in terms of a vertical rather than horizontal axis. Spirit comes from here. You come in, I think, from the east when you're ascendant, when you come in birth, and time is horizontal. So other self, spirit, soul, earth, the cross. And it's all four directions, all four elements. The statement is more meaningful in terms of a vertical rather than a horizontal axis. You stand below me and I stand below God. In the process of rising up, I am higher because without me, the distance between God and man would be too great for you to encompass. I bridge the distance as an elder brother to you on the one hand, and as a son of God on the other. My devotion to my brothers has placed me in charge of the sonship, which I render complete because I share it. This may appear to contradict the statement, I and my Father are one. But there are two parts to the statement in recognition that the Father is greater. Verse 5, revelations are indirectly inspired by me because I am close to the Holy Spirit and alert to the revelation readiness of my brothers. I can thus bring down to them more than they can draw down to themselves. The Holy Spirit mediates higher to lower communication, keeping the direct channel from God to you open for revelation. Revelation is not reciprocal. It proceeds from God to you, but not from you to God. God, it's so pretty out there. I gotta be careful I don't fall. I'm standing on ice because there's no good place to sit. Verse 6, the miracle minimizes the need for time. In the longitudinal or horizontal plane, the recognition of the equality of the members of the sonship appears to involve almost endless time. However, the miracle entails a sudden shift from horizontal to vertical perception. No time there. Straight here now. This introduces an interval from which the giver and receiver both emerge farther along in time than they would otherwise have been. The miracle thus has the unique property of abolishing time, to the extent that it renders the interval of time it spans unnecessary. You know, you don't have to take time to heal, not lifetimes or dimensions. You know, it's instant, it's immediate, it's in the now. Because really there only is the now, but the illusion of time. I don't know if I make sense. Like I said, I'm learning with you guys. Been trying to make sense of this for decades. But it's really an experience, and I understand that now. That's the purpose of the workbook lessons. The miracle of thoughts has the unique property of abolishing time to the extent that it renders the interval of time it spans unnecessary. There is no relationship between the time a miracle takes and the time that it covers. The miracle substitutes for learning that might have taken thousands of years. It does so by the underlying recognition of perfect equality of giver and receiver on which the miracle rests. The miracle shortens time by collapsing it, thus eliminating certain intervals within it. It does this, however, within the larger temporal sequence. We're going to stop there on page 8. That was all of section 2. Chapter 1 of the text of A Course in Miracles. Now we're going to do workbook lesson 4. This is only going to take a few minutes. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to find this. I should just remember the page numbers. So, lesson 4. The central idea for lesson 4 that we're applying is these thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Once again, the central idea we're applying in lesson 4 is these thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. In these practice periods, begin with nothing the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. You're going to sit for a minute and you're going to, in that minute, you're going to observe all the thoughts that cross your mind in that minute. And then at the end of the minute, you're going to apply the idea, the central idea. So in these practice periods, begin with nothing but the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. The idea being, these thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Do not, however, select only the thoughts that you think are bad. You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. Shakespeare says nothing is bad or good until you make it so. You give everything all the meaning that it has, that you see, that you experience. This is why they do not mean anything. Your thoughts do not mean anything. In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. Do not specifically include or exclude any thought. Try not to judge them. Just practice the exercise, be still. In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want either. This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps toward the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful. It is a first attempt in the long range of purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you and the meaningful within. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different. Verse 4, in using your thoughts for application of the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room, on this street, and so on. Verse 5, you can also use the idea for a particular thought that you recognize as harmful. This practice is useful, but it is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your... So don't purposely pick negative thoughts, like they said a million times. They say this every time we practice these exercises. This book is mostly them just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's all about reprogramming your mind. Miracles take place at the level of thought. Or a change... a right perception. The Holy Spirit set, your internal teacher sets you in right perception. Nothing is good or bad until we make it so. You know? I know that's deep. Too much to go into here. So, this practice is useful, but not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. Verse 6, further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with the thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later, and you only have to do them twice, and only for a minute or less. So, we're going to do this real quick for a minute. I'm going to observe my thoughts for a minute. Observe your thoughts for a minute. Let's breathe. Let's recenter. Bring ourselves back to center. Breathe deeply, slowly. Make sure your diaphragmatic breathing, your diaphragm or your abdomen should be rising and falling, not your heart. Most of us breathe too shallowly. If you do this often, and you can put your hands and see that they're rising, see? Shallow breathing is like... That doesn't move as this does. Okay, that's a really great... You'd be surprised how powerful knowing that is. And like you said, the more you do it, the more it'll train your... My body's gotten to the point recently where it just does it naturally now. So, 60 seconds. Observe our thoughts with no judgment. Okay. So, the few thoughts I had, mostly the same. I'm just in awe of how beautiful it is out here, and that's mostly what I was thinking about. Or, I've started to actually become still for brief periods of time, even when I'm not meditating. Practice body awareness. Feel my energetic body. Focus on my breath. I have a purple orb, and I'm going to move it from my crown chakra down through all my chakras. Recenter. And I'm going to imagine roots coming out of my feet and going deep into the earth, into the core of the earth. So we can focus. Okay, so these thoughts about how beautiful the sky is do not mean anything. It is just like the other things I see around me. Nothing around me means anything. Nothing I see means anything. Nothing I think means anything. This thought about how beautiful the lake is doesn't mean anything. It is just like the things I see outside. This thought about how I hope those people have a nice day and they have such a beautiful dog and I wish I had a dog, that means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It is just like all the things I see that mean nothing. Nothing I see means anything. Nothing I think means anything. The beauty of those trees, my thought that the trees are beautiful does not mean anything. It is just as meaningless as all the things I see. All my thoughts are meaningless. My thoughts about, I wonder if anybody likes to watch these videos, or if they will, or if they're worth the time. It doesn't mean anything. My thoughts that that's okay. benefits me more than anyone else and it holds me accountable, that doesn't mean anything. None of my thoughts mean anything. They're just like all the meaningless things my eyes see. Okay, that's it. I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're thinking about noon every day. I'll try to start scheduling it for noon. Yeah. I want to make it earlier, but that's what time I keep getting it to every day. So I love you. Love yourself. Be yourself. Be here now. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Goddess. Goddess, Creator, same thing. Thank you, Christ. Thank you to these people, Kellen and her friend, for channeling this book. And thank you to you for listening. Trying to channel the love and light of Spirit and anchor it into the earth. Purify and elevate the collective consciousness and to heal each other and ourselves. This is very important right now. This is to combat all the hate and fear. The number one purpose of this book is to remove fear. Only perfect love can cast out fear, and this book's about perfect love, casting out fear. Have a beautiful day. Here, I'm going to glimpse once more of what I'm looking at. Hopefully I don't fall over standing on this ice. I'm just outside Cleveland, Ohio. I gotta be careful not to fall. But yeah, it's really pretty. It's much prettier in real life. This camera doesn't do it justice.